Hello, fourth graders. So today I'm going to show you how to make a scatter plot using the data that we collected for our juggling unit. So a few things you need. One piece of paper, preferably either graph paper or line paper. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need 3 different color pens or markers. And you're going to need to have your ruler and also all of your data. So my data is written in my notebook. If you printed out the sheets of paper, that's fine too. So let's get started. So what I already did, I drew out the X and Y axis, and on the vertical side, so up and down, this is your Y axis. So you can think of it as when you draw or write a Y, you extend that Y all the way down. So that's how you know the vertical one is the Y axis, and then the horizontal one is the X axis. So what you have to do, you need to make sure that you have a ruler, draw a straight line, and a straight line just like that. And then based on your data, you have to label or margin these numbers appropriately. So my highest number that I got, if you watch my day 10, was 84. So I had to make sure my numbers went up to at least 85 because you want to make sure that all of your data is showable on your graph, right? So after you do that, you want to make sure that you title your graph. So I'm going to title mine juggling. So juggling. So now we know what the data is about. And then the y-axis, these are the amount of successful catches I had. So I'm going to write in successful catches. All right. And then on the x-axis, so I labeled the y. And then on the x-axis, these are your trials. So I'm going to write trials right here. Can you see that? Yeah. So trials. And then if you notice, this is my key. So this is where the 3 colors come to play. So each day is going to be represented by a different color. So for day 1, I'm going to put a little box and color it in green. For day 6, I'm going to put in the box and color that one in blue. And then day 10, I'm going to use red. So I'm going to color all these in. So now you know which day is represented by each or which color. So now you need to make sure that you label and use the x-axis. So what I'm going to do, since I have 6 different trials, so let me take you through that actually. So I'm going to start off at day 10 so you understand what I mean. So for day 10, I only had 6 total trials in my 1 minute and 30 seconds. So since this was the least amount of trials I had, because I was able to get more catches, as you can see here, I didn't have as many trials. So I drew a line at underneath the 6. So then now I'm going to go over to day 6, and even though I have extra data here, I'm not going to use these 3 extra points because I'm going to stop at 6 trials. And then for day 1, I did the exact same thing, and notice how my numbers are smaller because this is my first time doing it. So I stopped at 6, and then I drew a line, so we're not using any of this data right here. And so now, since now I showed you why I'm only using 6, now I'm going to draw out the x-axis and make sure that the placement is even. So what I mean by that, since I did 6 trials, I want to make sure I have that spread out on the graph down here on the x-axis. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to put it, let's start at 1. So I'm going to put a little tick mark at 1, and then at 2 centimeters, I'm going to put another tick mark. I'm going to show you why I'm doing this in a second. So 1, 3, so plus 2 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 2 is 11, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have 6 total tick marks. And then now I need to label these so you know what this means. So see, as I did down here, these are the trials. So I'm going to put trial number 1. So I do a little number sign and 1. Can you see that? Yeah. And then number sign 2, number sign 3, number sign 4, number sign 5, number sign 6. So again, I'm only doing 6 because that's the least amount of attempts I had. If you had a more than 10, I would probably stop it there, because you don't want to have like 20 trials down here, and then you're going to have a lot of data to mark. So you can pick anywhere between, if you have more than 10, you can pick anywhere between 6 to 10. So it's pretty easy to see, pretty easy to read. All right. So now this is where you start plotting your points. So as you see down here on my key, this is green. So I have to pull out my green pen. And then now I'm going to use these numbers to plot my points. So I'll actually put it this way. All right, so you can see part of that. So for trial number 1, so these are my trials. So trial number 1, my first trial, I got 4. So as you see, this blue line represents 5. So 4 is obviously a little bit lower than 5. So you want to put a little green dot right here. Actually, I'll put a little bit bigger so it's really easy to see. So for my second trial, I was able to get 6. So that's a little bit above 5. So put in a nice thick green circle there. My next one is 3. So for trial number 3, I received 3. So 3 is right in the middle. So I'm going to put that right about there. Then trial number 4, I also got 3. So it's going to be the exact same spot on the y-axis. And then trial number 5, I got 4, so it's going to be closer to the blue line. And then trial number 6, I also got 4 as well. So I'm going to put a nice thick green dot right there. So now you can see where my points are for day 1, because it's represented by green. So now I'm going to go on to day number 2, which is represented by the blue pen. So now I have to switch over and find my data for data number 6. And as you can see, these numbers are a little bit higher. So this shows some of my improvement. And I'm going to be a little bit higher on the graph this time. So trial number 1, I got 22. So that's a little bit higher. So this is 20. Go up a little bit. So I plot my point right about here. So that's my blue. Trial number 2, I got 19. So 20 is right there. So I'm going to go just below the 20 line. Trial number 3, I got 7. So that's quite a bit down here, close to my day 1. So that's right in the middle, right about there, because 7 is just above 5. And then trial number 4, I was able to get 10. So that's right in this blue line. That one's pretty easy to plot. And then you want to make sure again that these dots are pretty distinct, so you're able to understand the difference between the colors, and it shows a good representation of your data. Trial number 5, it's 13. So it's right in the middle, right about here. And then 21 for trial number 6. So I got to go up a little bit. So this is the 20 mark, so I have to go just a little bit higher. All right, so that is my completion for day number 6. So now, day number 10, I am going to put my blue pen down and pull out my red pen. And see, notice how I got 84. So that's significantly higher compared to my other scores that I got in the previous days that I'm showing you. And so I'm going to plot my point, because this is 85. So I'm going to plot it just below 85. So right about there. And then as you can see, I messed up quite a bit. So I only was able to get 1 for my second trial. So I'm going to put that right here. And then for my third trial, I was able to get 27. So I'm going to put that right about here. So this 25, 27. And then for trial number 4, I only got 4. put it down here, right below the 5. And then trial number 5, I got 3. Ugh, that was my lowest one for trial number 5. It's okay. And then trial number 6, now I have to go all the way back up here for 62. So trial number 6, I got 62. So this is a 60 mark. So put a little bit above, right about there. So now I have plotted all of my points. So now you can see my progress. So for day number 1, you can see that the majority of the dots were right around 5. Right, and then for day number 6, with some extra practice, I improved quite a bit. So there, here, and then it goes up a little bit. And then for day number 10, there's a really wide range. So I got way up here at 85, or I'm sorry, 84, and then I dropped down to 1, up here to 25, drop down, and then I'm all the way up here for trial number 6. So this shows your representation of your different days. So I have my title up here for juggling. I drew my Y, my X axis. I labeled both of them, so then you know what they mean. I also have my key down here. So each one of them is represented by a different color. So now you can understand how to do a graph and how to read it. So I used notebook paper. You can use graphing paper. You can use white paper. I prefer to use either graphing or the line paper. So then these extra lines are something that you don't have to draw in. So it's a little bit easier, a little bit less work. So this is how you do it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing your graphs. Have a great day.